Welcome. My name is Eduardo Samayoa, and I work for Grant Management Solutions. I've had the opportunity to develop a tool that supports the country coordinating mechanisms, or CCMs, of the countries that receive financing from the Global Fund to strengthen their oversight of the funds. For us, it's a pleasure to initiate this series of 4 instructional videos that will help us comprehend what the dashboard is, what its uses are, how it can be implemented, and the added value that this tool brings to the function of oversight of a country coordinating mechanism. Now let's start with our first video. The dashboard is a tool that strengthens the country coordinating mechanisms in its functions of oversight of strategically monitoring the use of the grants. To start, let me explain what a dashboard is. Let me go over the 5 functions that the Global Fund establishes for the country coordinating mechanism in order to carry out their work. Number 1 has to do with the coordination of the development of proposals being presented by a nation to the Global Fund. The second function is to assign and propose a principal recipient to implement these ideas in the nation. The third function of each country coordinating mechanism is to provide oversight of the grants received by the nation. Fourth function has to do with the approval of requests for reprogramming of grant funds which the principal recipient presents to the Global Fund. The fifth function is to coordinate the communication and documentation of all the activities that have developed in the country as a result of the CCM and principal recipient activities. Now, we're going to learn what a dashboard is. We all know what a car dashboard looks like, where we can see the different signs that notify us of the different functions the vehicle is performing. We can see the level of gasoline in our cars due to this panel. We can see how the temperature of the car is, whether or not we are driving along the acceptable speeds. In general, we are able to see how the vehicle is functioning. This is the general idea we want to incorporate for the grant dashboard to country coordinating mechanisms. Through this dashboard, the CCMs in these nations will be able to make note and learn how the finances are working and how to execute the plan laid out in the proposal for the well-being of the country. It will facilitate taking control and having the strategic knowledge of how the project works in the individual nation. They will be able to see how the expenses are being executed by the principal recipients, the status of the Global Fund disbursements to the country, and overall, it will permit us to do oversight and see if the project has been efficient in its cost and financial investment, also in human resources and materials that through the Global Fund you have acquired for your nations. The dashboard should give us an answer to 5 key questions that need to be asked of each grant. One of the first and most important questions is, where is the money? Do you know where the money is that the Global Fund has given you through the principal recipient? How the execution of these funds is being managed? Did you know that the Global Fund from 2004 to 2011 has approved the use of $23 billion to the whole world? How is this being managed in your country? Another question that is very important is, where are the drugs? Where are the bed nets and all the other medical equipment that have been bought with the resources from the Global Fund given to your country? For example, did you know that the Global Fund from 2004 to 2011 has distributed over 230 million bed nets to prevent malaria? A third question that the dashboard facilitates is the knowledge of whether the subrecipients are acquiring the resources and technical assistance that were laid out in the project plans. A fourth question is, are all the activities of the project being carried out as they were planned? It's also important for you to know the Global Fund from 2004 to 2011 has given treatment to 8.5 million people with tuberculosis. Is this being implemented successfully in your country? The dashboard also helps answer a fifth question. Do the results match the performance goals for this project? For example, did you know that through the grants provided by the Global Fund in 2011, more than 3.3 million people have received antiretroviral treatment? How are these resources being implemented in your country? For that, I developed this tool, a tool that facilitates the analysis and helps comprehend what is happening in your country and make action plans to monitor these activities. What are the characteristics that a dashboard should have? One of the first characteristics, and most important of them, is that the dashboard permits the country coordinating mechanism to focus on the most important issues. Focus on the situations where there may exist a bottleneck effect or problems in the execution of the grant. Then, the instrument directs attention to the strategy. It focuses on bringing us information both visually and graphically and facilitates the analysis of the information. Another important characteristic is it facilitates the analysis of the financial information, the problematic financial information management. Here it facilitates the decision-making process of the country coordinating mechanism. A third important characteristic of the dashboard is it allows the identification and gives solutions to the bottleneck and problems and checks for adjustments to better implement the project or grant in the country. This allows us to develop a course of action to monitor all those actions that are important to the success of the project. A fourth characteristic is that it helps with the communication between the country coordinating mechanism and the principal recipient. The dashboard is not an instrument for auditing or tax purposes. It's an instrument that could help the principal recipient to take action on those bottlenecks for which they themselves may not be able to come up with a solution. For that purpose, this instrument facilitates these actions, and the country coordinating mechanism can further help to identify and support the best ones to take. Who should be using the dashboard in a country? The dashboard has three important users. The first main users are you, the country coordinating mechanism members, who will improve the communication with the PR and learn how the implementation of the project is going in your country. The second users are the oversight committee members or the technical support staff because they are the ones that are responsible for adding the information to the dashboard, bringing forth said information and recommendations to the country coordinating mechanism. The third users of this tool are the principal recipients, because much of the information being added to the dashboard is coming from the principal recipients. These are the three users that should utilize the dashboard. The dashboard is an instrument designed in Excel. It's a tool that, when opened, shows us three different menus. The first menu is designed to help us add information. A second menu shows us the results through visual charts, and a third menu that shows us the action plan and recommendations of the country coordinating mechanism. In the menu of data input and grant information, we can see a single sheet to enter new information which can be financial, programmatic, or grant specific. The information is entered in different color-coded areas, in which each color is a different type of information. Brown for financial information, blue for information having to do with the specifics of the individual project, and yellow to input any programmatic information. It also shows us a sheet with general information in regards to the grant we are going to be evaluating or monitoring. And it also presents us with 4 graphs having to do with the financial aspects over which you, as a member of the country coordinating mechanism, are able to do grant oversight. 4 graphs in which we can observe the spending and costs, the differences between the estimated budget and the actual spending, and also the spending that the principal recipient has done, as well as the sub-recipients. This will give you a strategic view to get to see where the financial portion of the project is and know how the money in your country is being distributed. The part which is grant-specific can help with the everyday decision-making. Also, with the buying of drugs, medical equipment, and also with the very important stocks of drugs being held in the country. Also, this can help to see the state of the contracts between the sub-recipients and the principal recipient. This will also help us to see the status of the contracts with the management or the coordinating personnel to better implement the project. In the programmatic section, you will be able to follow the 10 most important indicators for the country in this particular grant. Out of the 30 or 40 indicators the project has, you select the 10 most important ones, and you can see them here in the screen in red, yellow, and green, and can see the general progress of the project. Finally, it permits us to have a list of recommendations that the Oversight Committee prepares when it inputs the information into the dashboard. It also permits us to have a special sheet for the actions that both the committee and the country coordinating mechanism have deemed important to be realized to be able to monitor the effectiveness and success of the project. This action plan is given a deadline and is assigned a person who is responsible for realizing this monitoring. This is the dashboard, and it's a tool that will facilitate the strategic analysis and success of your grant project. The dashboard is a tool in Excel and is completely free. To have access to this tool in your country, you can follow the links on the following screen.